So Alice and I met online. We had known each other, or at least knew of each other online on Tumblr for a while because we liked the same podcast, which is a pretty small corner of the internet to begin with. So we were kind of aware of each other through that. And we had some like basic conversations on Tumblr and a couple other places, but we really got to know each other playing Dungeons and Dragons virtually, which we had two different campaigns for that, and that's really when we became friends.
I think that Kit will say that we met through being friends on the internet and got to know each other through Dungeons and Dragons.
For my first impression of Alice, I thought that she was such a creative person. Her writing and imagination really drew me to her. I knew pretty much right away that we could be really good friends, and obviously I'm glad that we're more than just friends now, but definitely I knew right away that there was huge potential for us together right from the start.
I think that their first impression of me was probably fun person on the internet who has good taste in podcasts.
I made the first move. um, Technically, the first move was me asking if Alice would be interested in our D&D characters having a romance, which was kind of my way of being like, well, maybe I could flirt with Alice while we're flirting in character. But the actual real first move was when I asked her out, and it was the day before Valentine's Day. I had written a silly little poem based on our D&D characters, and asked her out, asked her to be my girlfriend then. I meant to ask on Valentine's Day, but I got too excited, so I didn't.
I think that Kit will say that she also made the first move.
Okay, for our first kiss, we've met in person for the first time in Kansas. We had been dating, I think, 3 or 4 months at that point, but it was long distance, as most of our relationship was. I had brought two of my friends with me, Jillian and Caitlin, because we had to stay overnight in a hotel. And Alice came to the hotel after we got there, and we just hung out for a while. And then Jillian and Caitlin just kind of left us alone for a little bit so we could have our awkward first date together. Um, and I remember I was so incredibly nervous because it was my first kiss ever. And to make matters worse, we had just ordered pizza, so we both had pizza breath. It was really sweet, though.
I think that Kit will also say that our first kiss was in that hotel room in Kansas City.
My favorite color is blue. I like lots of different shades of blue, but usually the darker ones.
I think that Kit's favorite color is blue. You know, like a kind of a soft blue, like our wedding color.
My favorite movie is Pacific Rim.
I think Kit's favorite movie is also Pacific Rim. There are giant robots, and the giant robots are powered by love and friendship. What more could you ask for?
For a favorite place to go out to eat, I really like Thai food, so we've been trying basically any Thai restaurant that is nearby and will deliver to our apartment, so probably basically any Thai place.
I think Kit's favorite place to go out to eat is probably Burgerville. They have very reliable dairy free food that Kit can eat, and it is delicious. I also agree that Burgerville is delicious.
This question, favorite cat, Lady or Tuesday? This is such an unfair question. I can't believe you make me choose. Um, Alice is Alice's cat is definitely like Lady. Like they were together first. Lady always goes to Alice first, and Tuesday has kind of attached herself to me in a similar way. So if I have to pick, I would say probably Tuesday. But I love Lady so much as well.
I think Kit's favorite cat is Tuesday because Tuesday will come and climb in her lap, and Kit really wanted a lap cat.
Star signs. I'm a Leo.
And Kit's star sign is Leo.
For the best present the other person ever gave me. So Alice gave me this little jar filled with these sweet little notes. We were still long distance dating at that time. It was usually about 6 months between when we saw each other in person. So that little jar of notes had just so many sweet things, and it was just nice to be able to pick one out during the day and read what Alice thought of me and little things like that. So that was wonderful.
Hello, I'm filming in an all new location and outfit just on a whim and not because I forgot to answer a question earlier. I think that Kit will say that the best gift I ever gave them was for one of our anniversaries. I wrote a bunch of letters and I labeled them all with things like open when you're feeling sad, or open the first time it snows this year, or open on our next anniversary. And then I packaged them all up in a really nice box, and they all had stickers, and I used cute pens on them. And then I mailed the box to Kit so that they could open those letters whenever they needed to hear from me. And we were still long distance at that time. So I had a lot of fun writing them and put a lot of care into them.
What I love most about Alice, that's such a hard question. I love so much about her. She makes me feel so safe and comfortable. She's definitely my safe space, and I know that any problems that we're facing, whether it's like my problem or her problem or our problem together, we're gonna face it, with kindness and coming at it with like gentleness and just work together to solve it. I'm never worried that she's going to be annoyed or angry with me or anything like that. So just knowing that she's my safe space, that sense of safety and comfort, I really treasure that. And there's just so much else that I love about her. Her creativity, her kindness. She's so funny, so beautiful. There's a lot, but I would say that sense of comfort is a big one.
I think that what Kit loves most about me is maybe my optimism. The way that, I try very hard to have a good attitude about things and to, even when things are hard, it's to still look at the bright things that we have together.
When I grew up, I wanted to be lots of things, but the main thing was a teacher. I soon discovered after becoming a teacher that it wasn't really my thing after all, but that's what I wanted for a lot of my life growing up.
I think Kit kind of wanted to do education for a while, like from a pretty early point, but I think like at some point they also maybe wanted to be a writer. I know they took ballet lessons at some point. Maybe they wanted to be a ballerina.
For pet names, we do a lot of pet names. Most commonly, I call Alice my love or lovely. Lovely actually started when we were still dating, but we hadn't said I love you yet. And I wanted to sneak the word love in there somewhere without it being like the big I love you. So I just started calling her Lovey and Lovely, and that's just kind of stuck around.
I think Kit's pet name for me is also most frequently my love. We do babe sometimes, but mostly my love.
We don't argue very often. If we argue about silly things, it's going to be something like, how a word is pronounced or like a regional phrase that the other one isn't familiar with. Just like silly little things that don't matter.
I think Kit will say that we're most likely to have a silly argument about whether or not some internet factoid is true or the pronunciation of a word. Nothing comes to mind, but something like that.
For when I knew I wanted to marry Alice, it was pretty early on for me. By the time I had asked Alice out, I was pretty sure that she was going to be very, very special. I kind of went into it knowing that this was going to be it for me. So it was pretty early. I think the first time I really thought about marrying her was about 6 months into our relationship, and she had had just a really bad day. And she called me on the phone, and we talked for over an hour. And the whole time, I was just like wishing I could be there in person to be there for her and hold her and make her feel better. And I just thought, I want to do that forever. I want to be able to do that for the rest of my life. So that's when I knew.
I think Kit first realized they wanted to get married, and probably maybe like around actually the same time. Like we'd had a couple of visits in person together, but hadn't been able to spend a huge amount of time. But I think there was this feeling that we both knew that like we weren't saying it, but we were kind of both thinking it, but we both kind of agreed that we weren't ready to say it just yet. But we were thinking about it.
I'm looking forward to calling Alice my wife. real actual answer though. Just having proof of our commitment and our love for each other. So basically, just being able to say, my wife.
I think that Kit is most looking forward to about being married. I think honestly, kind of similar. Being able to just say my wife is very fun, and we already live together and, have lots of plans for the future and joint accounts and everything. And so, ooh, you know what? Joint health insurance. I'm very much looking forward to that, and I think Kit is also looking forward to being able to be on my health insurance. So, and we can have, double coverage from our jobs and stuff. We're excited about that. Normal adult things to be excited about.